Here we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you gathering for the pre-show, we go live at 9:03 Central Standard Time, 10:03 out east with Subspace Radio. And so we've got about 3 minutes at the beginning of the show where we just gather to make sure we're kind of set up and things are going all right and we're ready to roll and yada, yada, yada. And this show goes live on air between 9:03 and 9:58 Central. So 03 to 58 is the length of the show. And we're 55 minutes long. And we go live on the radio station in roughly a minute and a half. So, yes, make sure the sound is on when you come back. It's kind of funny. I know this, and I know this all, and I'm set, and I think about it when I do it, and then I come back in, and I forget to turn the button up. So, I don't know what that is. Is that early Alzheimer's? I hope not. Sheesh. Hey, Paige Rockwell Soiree. Good to see you. We got Field Guy is here, and Matt Finn is here. Good to see you, Master Finn. Glad to have you in. Less than a minute, and we go live on Subspace Radio, where you can hear the show in its audio format only. Niall Parkinson, good to see you from Ireland. Respect is often too abstract for adults, more so than kids. Ain't that the truth? We'll talk about that a little bit tonight. So, do we even know what the definition is without looking it up? Can you define the word respect? I'm curious to know what and nobody's going to test you on this or anything, but I'd be curious to see what everybody types out before they look up the actual definition. If you type in the chat room what you believe respect means, what is that? I'll ask that again before the night is out. All right, I'm going to go dark. We'll see you in a few seconds.
The Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
And here we are, folks. Welcome to the program. I am your host, Scotty Roberts. And this here's my show, the Intrepid radio program, right here on the Subspace Radio Network. You can go over to subspace.radio, check out the radio station, see all the lineup that is there, and see what's going on at Subspace Radio. And you can also join, if you're not here already, one of the video simulcasts. And you can see 3 different places over on my Facebook channel, and Subspace Radio's Facebook channel, and Intrepid Radio's Facebook channel. Then you can also come over to my YouTube channel. And that's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And when you're there, you can subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And you can click the little bell. You'll get notifications, in theory. And also, if you have not joined the channel, you can click the little join button that's been beneath the video window. I think that's where it's located on most screens. And you click that little button, and you can see 3 ways that you can join the channel. Now, it's kind of like I once donated to the Republican Party in Wisconsin, not for the 2020 election, but for the 2016 election. And my donations are in equal proportion to my earnings. I'm not a big donor. I'm just one of those little guys. I'll donate $50. I'll donate $50. So I donated $50. That was in 2016. Every election cycle of any kind, I'm constantly bombarded with day after day, month after month, week after week, hour after hour of asking for donations. And I I just don't have the extra money to donate anymore. It's like if I got 50 extra bucks, that's going into something for the family. That's not going into Republican Party, Democrat Party, anybody party. And I still get things on Trump because, as you all know, and it's no surprise to anybody, so don't go get mad and walk away if you don't like Trump. I voted for Trump in the last 2 elections. And so I'm constantly getting things. But here's the point I'm making. I'm talking about click the join button, and you can spend a few extra bucks every month and be part of the family. We offer you protection. But Trump, I get notices, and I don't fault them. It's what they do. It's what campaign fundraisers do. But I get these things all the time. You can get an autographed picture of Donald for a minimum donation of $75. Like $75. I said, I wish they had a comment section. I'd write and I go, look, I might support your candidate, but isn't your candidate like every other candidate out there telling us we want in office because we're going to fix the problems? Americans are hurting. Even though gas has come down a bit, we're hurting at the gas pump. We're hurting at the grocery store. We're hurting everywhere. And the economy is not good, we're told. And yet all these same people saying, vote us in so we can fix this problem and fix all your economic woes. And yet they're still asking me for money. It's like, I know it takes money to make these things happen. But at the same time, it's like, don't tell me you're going to help fix the problems that make me have to tighten the belt for my family or our family missing out on certain things or making sacrifices because we got to make sure we got gas in the car, stuff like that. You look at that and you say, don't ask me to donate to your cause. I don't have enough money to put gas in the tank every week and donate somewhere. So there it is. Yes, I agree with you, field guy. Chuck Thurston says politics is an odd thing. They want our financial help, but where's it coming back to help me? Boom. Where's it helping? So I think that there are things that can be done that help the problems we have right now. But man, I got to tell you, it gets really old. Ask me for money and don't really fix anything. How long have politicians been fighting for us? And yet we still are in the same boat all the time. That takes a fundamental change somewhere. So anyways, greetings to everybody who's over in the chat room. Uncle Dave is over there. Chuck Thurston. Remeldian is there. Field Guy. Paige Soiree is there. And who else we got? I saw Matt Finn earlier. Niall Parkinson is with us. And several others, according to the numbers. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Let's roll on with this. Let's get going. I want to do a little bit of self-promotion, if you don't mind. It's not that I don't all the time. It's that I'm going to do it special. It's what they call here Cyber Monday. I haven't heard a lot about Cyber Monday the last 2 years, probably because the economy sucks. But we have Black Friday the day after Thanksgiving here in America. And they started a few years ago Cyber Monday, which would be all the cyber stuff you can buy and places where you sign up, Amazon, everybody else. Well, I've got a Cyber Monday sale. I got 3 things on my Cyber Monday. One I didn't put an ad out for, but I have this stack right here of Nephilim, The Rise and Fall of the Nephilim. This was my first book with into the paranormal or world weird historical realm. Came out in 2012. It's 10 years old, but it's timely. There's not much in here that isn't still relevant. Although they have asked me to do the second edition of this, which is just basically writing a new chapter and touching up some things in other chapters. But this book came out in 2012. It's cover priced at $16.99, so $17. If you go to my PayPal, which is, if you go out to my main window of my YouTube channel, there's a little button in the upper left, I think, that says donate or something like that. Just hit that. That'll take you to PayPal. And just throw in for this book on Cyber Monday. I have 6 of them left. The cover price is $17. Now I got to ship them to you, which cost me roughly a little under $4 a piece. So if you give me $14 for the book and $4 for shipping, that's $18. It's $1 more than cover price, but it's $4 off the cover price. Wait, is that right? $3 off the cover price, whatever that percentage is. So then you can have one of these. I'll autograph them for you and all that, or inscribe them, they say, and in more academic settings. So throw $18 over into my PayPal and send me your name and your address via private message and all. I'd probably ask you on the PayPal, and I'll send you one of these. Boom. That one was easy. Niall said he owns a copy of this. Is very good insight into the Nephilim and their biblical references. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Niall. And then I have 2 things that I don't have physical things to hold on to, but you all know I do tarot readings. And if you go, I put these up on my Facebook page and on my Instagram. If you go over to my website, scottallenroberts.com, click on the tarot link up in the upper menu bar, and you'll see 2 options, a $45 option and $85. That's for respectively a 5-card and a 10-card reading. You click to, and this is for tonight only until midnight. You can go over there, click on the $45 one, and then contact me via messenger or an email or whatever, and let me know that you want a reading. When you want to schedule it, we'll get it scheduled. But I'll give you for 45 instead of the 5-card reading. I'll give you the 10-card reading. If you do the $85 one, that'll buy you 2 10-card readings. So kind of a way to cut in half without doing all kinds of tech stuff to my website. So go over to scottallenroberts.com and click on the tarot link, and you can do appropriately there, and we'll line up your schedule, your meeting, your reading. And then the last one I've got, of course, is my graphic design, my illustration design, logo design, book covers. I know there's a lot of authors out there that want to have book covers done or illustrated books. You get me secured for your project by midnight tonight, and you'll get half off, basically half off everything. Logo design, I usually charge $650 for a logo. And that logo I cut down to $325 for the Cyber Monday special. But you got to pay that tonight to get that deal by midnight tonight. Also, illustrations. I'm about the same. I charge between $450 and $650 for a full page illustration. It all depends on what it is, what the medium is, and so on. Like if it's in books and I do 10 of those, I'll work you out a much better deal. Always do. If there's 10 illustrations to do, plus a cover illustration, plus design. Same thing with logos. It's all half priced. But you got to secure it tonight by in a sense, prepaying that. That secures you at that half price. So if you want book cover design or logo design or all of that. So there you go. And that's my self-advertising stuff. So there you are. There you have it. And let's move on. Let's move away from that. So thank you all for being here. We're going to talk a little bit about something tonight that is near and dear to me right now because I have 3 children that are at home, that are in those various ages of middle childhood, from Ellery, my youngest, is 7. She'll be 8 in about a week. We've got Rowan, who was just turned 11. And then we've got Flynn, who is 13. And they're all in these varying stages of childhood. The youngest still being at 8 years old. You think she'd have caught on things by now. 13-year-old is starting to get it. The 11-year-old is just all happy to be here. Cheerleader type of sports and athletes and all of this stuff. That's what she's all about. And makeup and hair and nails and you name it. And so the little one, however, is a little She is still a little precocious is not the word, because precocious can be kind of nice and all of that, but at the same time, she's not precocious. She's I'm trying to think of a word for it. She's naughty. She's naughty. She's got her own little world and universe that she likes to live in, and everybody needs to live up to that. And it makes me lose my peace, my calm, my small child. So, Field Guy says, I feel old, started sating recently back in my day. Not sure what you mean exactly, but you feel old. I get that. Argilmer, also called Ymir in Norse mythology, a giant who was created from the drops of water that formed when the ice of the Nephilim met the heat of the Muspelheim. Strong similarity in history. Yeah, there is. The words are close as well, even though it's Hebrew. So let's just what everybody else. Leslie says, "Oh, and Tam O'Hare. It's one of our favorites. I have both the colored and the black and white copies. Thank you for that, Leslie." Sword, she bought 10 autographed copies of the Sword and the first came out. Leslie did. One for me and one for each of the grandchildren. I'm going to tell them to cherish and thank you. I appreciate that, Leslie. So let's see. Dave says, I have 2 copies. Niles said, you don't count. I'm surprised you don't have 10 copies. LOL. There it is. Yeah, Dave's like a family member owning a couple of copies. So he's been around since that was released. So anyway, respect. Talking about and in kids, this is something you almost ask the question: why don't children show respect? Maybe better switch the words around. Why children show respect? And there's respect's kind of an abstract concept, although it's not something should be misunderstood, or is easily misunderstood if you're not teaching what it means. But it's an abstract concept, vague. It's beyond the grasp of, frankly, many kids below a certain age level. And that's usually into their early teens before they start wrapping their minds on vague concepts. How can you tell a kid you need to respect your mother, or you need to respect your dad, or show a little more respect? Respect the vague, subjective concept. What does it mean? I asked before those started. I told everybody, start typing in your definitions. Before you get up, don't go look it up. If you're sitting in that room, go ahead and type in a brief definition of what you think respect means. And it's not a big test. It's not that you can't go look it up. But go look. We all use the word respect. What does it mean to you when you tell somebody to respect something? My feet is body, says Sarah. No, it doesn't show me that here, which is funny. But it looks also on this end. But I see that my signal is very low. So I'm not sure why I have so few bars. But there it is. I'm breaking up. He's breaking up. We can rebuild him. We can make him better than he was. Better, stronger, faster. Remember that? All of you know what that was? What that was? Stuff came in and popped into my terrible audio. Sounds like dial-up. Well, now that's awfully weird. Let me just do this while you're all listening. I am going to double check my setting on things to make sure. Yeah, I'm on this microphone. You know what it is? It's my internet out here. Our internet sucks locally here. And I had kind of a little, not a yelling, she was a polite kind of conversation with our internet company today. And I was talking to them about their customer service. And I said, I said, frankly, I've got to let you know, your customer service sucks. And I said, if I try customers the way you treat your customers here in town, I said, you wouldn't have any. I said, the problem is, I said, now you tell me, do you think the problem is that you're the only game in town? You've got the monopoly on the internet in this town? Is your customer service is abysmal? That's the exact tone I was using. She hung up on me. Here's customer. Oh. So it's all right for a company to hear negativity sometimes. That's especially when your customer is calling it and hang up on them. So I'm going maybe I don't might write out to somebody higher up to say, look, if you extend your customer service, handling customer complaints with hanging up the phone to somebody who is actually being polite and not great, there's a problem with your customer service. Boom, from the get-go. I said to nobody as she just hung. I said, you just illustrated my point about your customer service. Anyway, but the reason I was talking here was the sucky state of our internet. What is up with our internet? So hopefully you can all hear. Hearing every word. There's not much you can do about that, guys. I wish I could. I am on, and I'm hardwired. I am plugged in to the internet. According to this, my Wi-Fi is off. Let me turn on Wi-Fi, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if that improves it if I switch over to Wi-Fi. And see if it's any difference. Wi-Fi signal. Now I've switched to Wi-Fi. Hopefully that will do something a little better. You'd think the hardwire would have taken care of that. All right. There's an echo, a feedback. Like when someone doesn't turn down their radio. I get that. That's why I turn down my sound when we do the opening. Because the radio station, Link, wants to catch my if I turn this up, here now you hear that? You hear that swing? You hear that feedback? That's all when I turn my sound up from my computer. So I've got to absolutely block the sound when I'm doing radio. So you don't hear it. It doesn't pick it up. It apparently is picking it up from somewhere. So we've got to fix that down the line. Figure out what we're getting echo and feedback of any kind at all. Now, let's get back to that. I somehow got over to talking a radio or internet company through talking respect. I was shown total disrespect today. I'm like, look, I am one of the people that help pay your bills. So don't mistreat me. Don't treat me like I'm somebody to be up on. If I said that'd be one thing, then you hang up on somebody. But long as I can hear it, I'm good, says Field. Yeah, at the radio station, they say they've been picking up some echoes, but I don't know how to deviate it, to tell you the truth. I do have like rather high. Maybe it was a bit high. They're now taking it down a bit. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Protection agency usually gets straightened out fast. Your internet, Steve, on a different topic. The head of the office. When they don't fix it, I call the Attorney General of the state. And I'm about ready to call the Attorney General and say, yeah, there's a problem here. And it's because they all voted in years ago that this would be the only company in town. Well, you can go a couple of miles that way. You can get Comcast. You can get AT&T and all the others. Any of those in my town. It's one company. That's the local Dunk Company. Northwest Communications in Somerset, Wisconsin. They're the ones. Now you can get other internet, but they're all satellite. You can get satellite internet, and stuff like that. We were waiting for Skylink to come on board. We signed up. Haven't seen anything on it yet. That was over a year ago. So respect, got to keep getting back to this. Respect is an abstract concept. It doesn't have a lot of meaning for kids. And frankly, as Niall said, maybe a lot of adults don't quite get what respect means. Remember when you were, respect, says Dave Potter. Dave says, respect is treating someone who would be treated, seeing them as your equal, with no ill will or malice in your heart. That's respect, he says. We got other definitions in here. Did I miss anything? Let's see. Looking to see if we have any other definitions. Does this sound any better? If I reboot, I lose this connection for this show, and I have to totally restart it. And it's broadcasting to the radio station page, so I don't think it's a booting issue. It's an internet issue. The internet's probably running low. Hopefully, it'll come back up. So, yeah, it's a modem issue, probably. The whole modem would need to be rebooted, but we just did that yesterday. So anyway, we'll go with this as long as we can. Folks, if you can't hear the show and it's not pleasant to listen to, I'll have to reboot, but that takes us down off the radio station. It also takes us down. We have to put up a whole new thing to get going. I might be able to click back into it, but I don't think so. Voice is fine. Picture is choppy. Niles. Everyone else using devices right now in the house. So just keep me posted, folks, how this is working. So respect is being more concrete and specific about the behaviors that you expect from a child or from anyone in your sphere of influence. Is going to make them more likely to comply. And respect also has to be earned. It can't be forced. Now, we all know that. You got to earn respect. I get that. But then there's a different kind of respect. There's two aspects to respect. Respect is one of those things you have to earn. It's also one of those things you have to give. And there are obligations on both ends of that, or two sides of that coin. Respect might have to be earned, but then when you're giving respect, there is some respect that is to be given without earning it, without the other side earning it. They deserve respect. They deserve your respect. Authorities, authority figures, things like that. Parents. So I looked up the definition of respect. Webster says, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. And as an example, the director had a lot of respect for Douglas as an actor. So respect, it's all about admiration. It's all about admiring somebody for their abilities, their qualities, their position, perhaps, in life, things like that. There's the state of being admired or respected. The first chance in over 15 years to regain respect in the business is an example sentence. A person's polite greeting. Give my respects to your parents, my admiration, my greetings to them. And a particular aspect or point or detail is respect, in respect to this detail. But there's already, but there are other words that mean kind of the same thing. Esteem, respect and admiration, typically for a person. He was held in high esteem by colleagues, or regard, words like that. Then you get to the Old Testament where it says, respect the Lord thy God. Lest thou be dealt with harshly is kind of the implication there with that. And so is that respect when you're being so forced to respect somebody that it's not natural? It doesn't come from your heart. It doesn't come from admiration. It doesn't come from those qualities. It comes out of fear. That's the fear of the Lord thy God in the Old Testament. Love him, but fear him. Fear, we were always told, was that respect for who God is what the Old English, using the word fear, meant. Sounds so much better now. Okay, good. That's good to know. Thank you, Leslie. Might have gone through a little loop in there somewhere where something weird was going on with the internet. Visuals fuzzy, though. I noticed that, too, when I look back at some of the videos. I go, why is my video so choppy? It's because we don't have high speed internet here. We've got high speed internet, compared to 20 years ago. But we're not on the fiber optics here in this part of town, or the old part of town, small town. All the new developments are getting all the new fiber optics because they got to lay it all down new. So, and so that's what I think respect is. It's those things. It's that admiration quality, but it's also a thing that is abstract to kids. I know I've noticed in school kids, and remember, I was a youth pastor for a while, and I did a lot of speaking at public schools and things like that, as well as being a youth pastor to high school kids and junior high school kids or middle school. I've noticed students, they need programs in areas such as conflict resolution, harm reduction, stress management. These are all good things. I hear a lot of caterwaul about what our kids are being taught on social agendas in school today. And I agree with that. School is not the place for social engineering. But if you're going to learn how to do things in life like mathematics, learning how to read and speak real good, and I like to read because it makes me speak good. That is foul English right there, by the way. Really messed up English. But a lot of us use that and we don't even realize we're doing it. Makes me speak good. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling well today. So, but I've observed these repeating patterns in why adults fail in their efforts to communicate with children about all of these things. I think in school, conflict resolution is necessary to learn. Harm reduction is good to learn. Stress management is good to learn. You think there aren't kids in school that aren't stressed? As I've mentioned before, my own lovely wife, Rainey, has anxiety issues. I think our kids have some of that. It's genetic, hereditary. There is that Flynn is highly anxious about school. He doesn't want to go to school, and he wants us to do it at home, and so on and so on and so on. And I thought he was just being disrespectful. I think he's got a lot of anxiety issues going on. So we're starting to look into ways to help him out with that. But adults fail in their efforts to communicate with children because they don't recognize what kids do and do not understand. One of the most common mistakes I see is when behavioral expectations are explained to kids in terms of a concept like respect. Telling kids to be respectful often has the exact opposite effect. But the fault here lies with adults who don't understand how a child's brain works. And that would include me. There are times for all the kids I've fathered, and half of them out of the home now. I always told them, respect what your mom is saying. Respect my words. I tell my kids here, I've gone to, like with Flynn especially, I've said, Flynn, honor your mom. And I said, you don't have to like what she's telling you to do, but you need to respect her and you need to honor what she says and who she is, and you need to comply with your mom out of respect. He's starting to get that. Leslie says, I have terrible anxiety. I can't drive on busy roads because the nut jobs on the road affect me terribly, even when Andy is driving. Yeah, my wife, when I drive, she's looking at everything. She'll when I go into reverse, she's got to turn around and look. I deliberately don't. It's like, I'm not the one driving. You take care of the business. You know how to drive. You're 43 years old. You got this. You don't need me telling you how to drive. But that's me. I'm a little more mellow than my wife. I don't have that anxiety. For her, she needs to know what's going on all around her at all times. That's an anxiety-driven thing. But who else we got in here? Project Skyfalls, welcome to the program, to the chat room anyway. So before I go into these psychological details of too many other times. We got to look at examples of why kids do what they do. There was an elementary school classroom in which the teacher asked each student to say something nice about a particular child. When the turn fell to one boy in the class, he said, "Seeing you always puts a smile on my face. You make me feel great." And then he went on to say, in a very matter-of-fact manner, "You're such a loser that just thinking about you makes me feel better about myself." So now that's a very negative approach. You make me feel good about myself because you're such a loser and it makes me feel better. This is the way kids talk. Another time, I witnessed a young student who was being rough with another kid on the playground. The recess monitor pulled the student aside. I'm watching this and had a long talk with him about being helpful. Be helpful to that other kid. I said, I'd have probably said, "Hey, don't be a shit. Be decent out there." But of course, you can't talk that way to kids in public school. But the student somberly indicated that he understood and he'd comply. And when the monitor dismissed him, he immediately went back and tackled the same kid as before, began pummeling him. And when the monitor pulled him apart, he asked the student in exasperation why he would turn right around and resume his same aggression. And the kid replied very sincerely, "I don't understand. You told me to be helpful. Fighting makes people tougher, so I'm helping him out." Now, that's just an example of some of the common problems that are associated with this respect issue. I would look at an answer like that, by the way, and think kids being a smartass. Have you noticed? Kids have a natural tendency to be smartasses, smart mouths, talk back, all that stuff. But I think even more so now with the advent of the things they have access to on the internet, things that they do for entertainment, kids shows, quote unquote, on the internet, YouTube stuff and all of that. Everybody's always screaming and making noise, and they're doing fun things in and of themselves, but they're trying to find ways to make it more and more entertaining. And some of it is disrespect to parents. Hey, Isby. I am Isby. He says, "Hi, everyone. Wonderful evening to be with us all. Favor, prosperity, peace, happiness, positive manifestation be with all of us together." There you go. Let's make those things happen. Leslie said, "We have enough commercials and TikTok videos with kids being mouthy little assholes." That's exactly it. They are. And once they start learning that that's an okay thing to do, they get mouthier. My kids will hear Rainey and I swear. Now, we used to not swear much around our kids. They'll hear me issue a rare, well, not as rare as it should be. I say, "God damn it. God damn it. Where's that thing?" Or that's kind of my words. And fuck is a good word. I try not to use it a lot with the kids. I don't ever call them like motherfuckers or anything. You don't do that to my kids. And by the way, if anybody's going to do it, I'll do it. You don't do it to my kid. But no, I don't like to use that language with my kids because I think it teaches them disrespect. Although it slips out every now and then. I'll sometimes look at Flynn and I'll go, "Son, what the fuck are you thinking?" That kind of thing. That's where I've used it. And, but I have expectations of my children. One of them is I expect them to respect their mother. And so I tell them what respect is. What I mean by that, treat your mother better. Do not talk back to your mother. Do not tell your mother no. I said just to Ellery, just tonight. I said, what I mean by that, I said, if mom pulls out a hatchet and is trying to axe murder you, say, "No, no, no, no." I said, but if she tells you, "Get up and go get your bath," that's not a no response that should come out of your mouth. What should come out of your mouth is, "Okay, Mom, I'm on it." And so that's what I tell my child and both of my children, all three of them. That's how I describe respecting your mother. Honor your mom. Don't you dare talk to your mom that way, is my thing. I said, and I'll hear it sometimes, and I'll peek around the corner, whatever I'm doing, and I'll go, hey, what did I just hear you say to your mom? Flynn is a big offender. I'm not picking on him. He's just 13. And so he's starting to feel his freedom is coming. And I told him, if you want to use that language with your mom and talk to her that way, it's not like he's swearing her up or anything. He's disrespectful because he's feeling those wings. He's seen how far he can step out on that branch. No, I'm not going to do that. I think you need to not be talking to me right now. It's something as inane as that. And I look at Flynn and I go, excuse me? What'd you just say to your mom? I said, you better rephrase that and quick. Show your mom the respect she deserves. And so he's starting to get it. Don't talk back. You know what that means to a child? Yeah, Niall, that means they just keep doing it. I get into Rainey gets frustrated with it. She goes, both of you stop, because I've got my little child will argue with me. Half of it is not so much the issue as them acting like they are my equal to argue with me on some intellectual capacity. And it's not that they aren't smart kids, but they keep going and they keep hitting it at a different angle, then another angle. When that one collapses, then that one collapses, they go another angle. And I'm like, I finally go, hey, shut up. I said, when I told you what I expect of you, I didn't ask for input. I didn't ask for amendments to what I said. I didn't ask you to even explain what you believed that meant. If I said, go wash the dishes, and you've got an hour to finish them, it's your chore today, I expect that that's to be done with respect. So when a child argues with me, though, about it, brings up 8 different reasons why they shouldn't have to do that. Flynn did that the other day. Well, why should I have to do the dishes? Well, I don't like doing dishes, therefore I do not have to do them. What? I said, do you think I like doing the dishes? Do you think we like picking up after you? No. There's more meat to this, by the way. I'm just going off on some of this. Let's see what's everybody saying. Pushing buttons to see what would happen if they keep coming. That's right. Seems they always want to have the last words, says Morgan Snow. Ain't that the truth? And I just tell them, hey, zip. I don't need to hear another word out of you. I need you to respect what you were told to do. Respect your mother and do what she told you to do. So anyway, drinking wine, Scotty? No, it's the wine of Mother Nature. It's water. So, could be wine. I thought I'd bring on my Stella Artois glass instead of my big rubber Tupperware cup. So, Niall says, what makes you think they cannot equal you in intelligence and perception? What really annoys you is not how smart they are, but that they will not do what they're told by you. Yeah, well, that's part of that is exactly true. It's not that they aren't smart enough, not that they aren't intelligent enough. They certainly aren't experienced enough to argue me under the table. But that's why I amended that right away. It's not that they aren't intelligent enough. It's they've got the intelligence to argue. It's that they are in a position in life where they are not the boss. They are being fed and housed and taken care of and loved. And you know what? As a child, while they are learning to live out on their own, they are under our rule, if you will, as their parents. And that rule says you will do what you are told. Of course, within reason. We're not going to ask him. I told Flynn the other day, I'm not going to ask you to go out and murder somebody. You have every right to not to say no. But yeah. All right, this guy can go. This guy in the chat room. Just going to block him for now. And so my son's 7-year-old has to be the most disrespectful child I've ever met. He screams and tells you to shut up. Yeah, the moment my child told me to shut up, I would give them one good verbal licking, if you would. My first response would be, well, and that actually did happen. Flynn told his mom to shut up the other day. She's telling him to get work done, get your chore done. And she's kind of yelling at me, because just shut up. And I said, what did you just tell your mom? Now, 50 years ago, he got a crack upside the head. Nice backhand from his dad. I didn't do that. It's not that I'm against that. I'm against that as the first option. And so I can usually verbally get my son to admit. I say, first of all, now you need to apologize to your mom for talking to her that. You are not her equal. I said, you in this household are not her equal. You will not speak to your mom that way. And that usually takes care of that problem. But, oh, you got rid of him. Good job. I missed something. Oh, that guy. Yeah. I blocked him. And I don't think it's anybody even live doing it. They just have these bots that go out there and find all that stuff and get into the chat rooms. Niall said, I would argue that, and I am no expert on kids, that maybe kids need to be listened to as to why they want what they do. In other words, reverse psychology. Yeah, that's all part of parenting. I'm talking about in the moment. I'm not going to sit down and have an intellectual debate or a learning classroom with my kid when we're in the middle of something. And it's like, what did you say to your mom? Sometimes it happens right on the spot. Other times it's got to be mode of life. It's not just the moments when these things happen. It's the whole mode of operation within your family. And so our families, did you get did you get blocked, Grumpster? Are you putting up sex stuff? So, yeah, I would agree with you totally, Niall. It's all a lifestyle thing. It's all the way we deal with our kids on a daily basis, in and out, 24/7, not just the conflict moments. And that conflict, believe you me, doesn't come because you're a bad parent or a bad person. It comes because that's what kids do. They feel their independence levels, and they have to put them to the test. So, moving back into this on why children don't show respect, the point is that abstract concepts like respect have no meaning to kids until about age 12. Our thought processes are largely concrete. Our brains simply haven't developed that neurological complexity to be able to fully grasp ethereal concepts. But to a point, because I think we can grasp ethereal concepts when you talk to a child about heaven or hell or religious issues, loving God and so on. They seem to get those. They seem to kind of get what that means. They know what it means to love their parents and to be loved. Respect, it's a little bit abstract. You've got to get down to more specific black and whites as opposed to telling somebody, a child, to stop acting disrespectful. If you try talking to a young child about an idea like dignity, for example, you're not likely going to get very far. Perhaps at most you'll get a regurgitated response using other words that the child doesn't really understand yet. But dignity can be taught to children. It can be taught through examples, through word pictures, through other words that you use to teach that. Same with respect. You can accomplish a communication goal if you tell a child something black and white, like when you stick your tongue out at the other kid, it makes them feel bad. So we have a rule, our tongues stay in our mouths. And so the child isn't capable of understanding what it means. Now I'm talking small children with this stuff. Child isn't capable of understanding what it means to undermine someone's sense of personal dignity or self-worth, because those concepts are not concrete. But keep your tongue in your mouth is crystal clear, and there are reasons we do that. And so I think all these things can be taught at a very young age, just to find out the better way to do it. In that last example, the helpful child on the playground. who was pummeling the other kid to teach him how to be tough, I would look at that and say, he's just being an ass. He's found an asshole response to a teacher. But if it was sincere, the helpful child play on the playground, the recess monitor may have been able to prevent the child's aggression if they'd used concrete language. Instead of telling him to be helpful and respectful, they could have said, your body needs to avoid other people's bodies. Now, I've never used that phrase with my kids. I have said to my kids, do not touch anyone else to fight or in anger, unless you have to defend yourselves. And we go through this. It's a longer conversation, and sets of conversations that have gone along with this. We tell them, I tell my son all the time, do not touch your little sisters. Well, they hit me first. I said, yeah, you're 13, she's 7. I think you'll make it. You'll survive. Walk away from it. And if they don't, you come and get me. But we've told the other kids, hey, if you keep that up, somebody's going to clean your clock. We have to describe what that means. So I'd argue that the same can be said for adults. If some experts suggest that adult congregations like therapy groups or graduate classes, they develop their own sets of ground rules. But in my experience, they invariably select words like respect, support, etc. And inevitably conflict ensues because we all carry within us our own widely disparate interpretations of these concepts. All that can happen after that point is a power struggle over whose interpretation is the correct one. And my conversation at noon today with the internet people, could I have been the one who was in the wrong? I was belittling without belittling because I was calmly and professionally describing what the situation was and how bad their customer service was. Did that person hang up on me because they were offended or hurt? Or did they hang up on me because they had bad customer service? They didn't want to deal with it. So, in my experience, they select the right words, but they're always misinterpreted by somebody else's words. In some contexts, like the Godfather movies, respect seems to mean nothing more than fear. That's ancient biblical talk, Old Testament talk. Fear the Lord thy God. Well, fear is the basis for, they say you fear because you respect God. Godfather movies, it's all based on fear. Respect is all, respect what he says. Fat Tony said you should do this and you should respect it. And you respect Fat Tony. So on more than one occasion, I've seen a victim stand up to their abuser, only to be labeled the disrespectful one in the family. And in other contexts, respect might be understood to mean compliance with an arbitrary social expectation. So one widely relatable, and you know what? We are almost done with this show. We've got, I was looking at 9:54. We have a 55-minute show. We're done at 9:58. There you go. So you got a few minutes left. One widely relatable description that I can offer, while I'm neither advocating nor condemning the practice, is the tradition of taking one's hat off during the national anthem. It's not at all clear to me why displaying one's hair is respectful, but covering it is not. And you can make a good case for the opposite. And so in this case, respect is simply defined as the performance of an act in itself. I have to confess that I remain confused about what respect really is. Once I had a supervisor when I was working for other people who was openly and admittedly violating some workplace policies, which impacted my team. And so after several attempts at diplomacy, another abstraction, by the way, I candidly expressed to the supervisor that they have to follow the policies as written, just like the rest of us. And while never denying the violation, the supervisor said it was disrespectful to tell them what they must do. And they used the ambiguity of the term to make the situation about me and my alleged lapse of etiquette, rather than the serious policy breaches they were committing. And I've had those conversations with owners of companies before, people who were my superiors, and I've told stories before. I got canned one day because I confronted the owner of the company with something they did that I thought was wrong and disrespectful. And it ended our business relationship. I'm like, okay, see ya, if that's the way you're going to be. So, in my view, respect, whatever it is, it's earned. It's earned through practices such as applying empathy, reducing the suffering of others. Even the respect we're presumed to have for our parents is predicated on the promise that they're going to be there for us. They will live with us, provide for us, encourage us throughout our childhood. And when adults fall short on these promises to kids, they forfeited any respect due to them. But one way we can indeed respect our children is to understand that their developmental limitations and communicate rules and expectations to them in a way that they can understand. That's about the only way that we can get the idea of respect and honoring the parents off to them. So now we're almost done here. We got to get out of here. So folks, over on the radio station, I am going to have you, I'm going to sign off with you. And folks, I'll be right back. So live long and prosper.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid radio program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
And here we go with the captain's cabin. I didn't hit the right button there. Here we go. Boom. Oh, and our elderberry to you as well. So break out the rum. So rum. It's so, cliche. It's cliche. I likes me a good port as well. So anyway, welcome to the captain's cabin, folks. I'm going to do something I don't normally do on air, but you've seen it before. But my sleep has been rough. I've been tired out an awful lot lately. And I thought, there's something else wrong with me or something. And of course, I get it checked out at the doc. I'm fine. So, but I do know I have really bad sleep habits. I will go to bed usually around midnight to 12:30, somewhere in there. And as you all know, because I talk about it all the time, my body wakes me up about 4:10 every day in the morning. So, roughly I'm getting 3.5 to 4.5 hours on that average of sleep. And I'm thinking maybe that might be catching up with me a bit too, because I took that sleep aid last week, whatever day it was, and I slept like a baby for like 10.5 hours. There's a prescription sleep aid from my doc. Just pop one of these at night. He says that'll help you sleep better. And no big shakes about it. No big conversations. It's just if you're having a tough time, let me give you a little something that'll help. I took one of those about 6 months ago when he prescribed it and never took them again. I thought, no, don't like that. Well, I took it the other day and man, I felt medicated the whole rest of the day. And when I woke up in the morning, even though I got 10 and a half hours of sleep, so I must have needed it. Then I took another one the next night just to see if it did the same thing. Sure enough, I slept about 9 hours, 9.5 hours, and felt medicated all day. I felt pharmaceuticaled. And so I said, I'm not going to take those again. Then, of course, I went over to my brother-in-law's on Saturday with Rainey for the Thanksgiving celebration. And that was Saturday, and they had cupcakes. Now, let me put it this way. I'll bring in Niall while we're talking here. My brother-in-law and all of his family, now he's not a married guy. He doesn't have kids or anything like that, but he's in his early 30s. And they are very, what would you call it, sophisticated pot smokers. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. They're very efficient at it. They know what they're talking about. And they made some cupcakes. And I talked about this on Sunday morning a bit. It's Sunday, but I had a cupcake, and they told me, maybe you, Scotty, should only have about a half of one. And, of course, immediately you flare up a little bit and are like, what, you think I can't handle it? What, you think I'm a lightweight? and so they told me to have a half a cupcake. And Rainey told me, you know what? She was sitting there. She goes, you know what? Why don't you have about a quarter of that cupcake? So I ate the half, and I was feeling all right. And I thought, I think I just want to maintain this mild, for lack of a better word, the mild buzz that you get. Buzz is more alcohol, to use that terminology. That mild, I don't really care about anything. Yeah, that's fine.
That floaty thing. Yeah, that
floaty thing, yes.
Yeah.
So I ate the rest of the cupcake. And about an hour later is when it really polished me. I was standing out by the bonfire with everybody else, late afternoon. And I said, wow. I said, that was potent. And then when I get stoned, I get, believe it or not, talkative. I get talkative, but my talkative is not intelligent talk. It's intelligent in my brain where it's formulating, but it comes out really just stupid. So
because you're with the elves and the fairies at that stage.
There it is. I'm with the elves and the fairies. And everybody was laughing at me all afternoon. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you're having fun, and I'm glad to be your comedian, but that was serious. I think, I kept trying to articulate myself, and I couldn't. And so Rainey took a couple of videos, I guess. And I was stupid. But I say all that to say this. Tonight, she told me last night, why don't you try those THC things? CBD, THC. And it's these little gummies like these. And those are the ones we remember back last summer. I was up working with my friend Andy, and he gave me, I'm talking on the phone to somebody that was pertinent to the business we were conducting. And he whispers, he goes, take this. And he hands me 3 of these. And I took them, and without questioning much, he says, just for aches and pains. Well, it was this shit. And so I had no aches and pains. And I'm about 20 minutes later, I'm into this conversation with this client, and I'm trying to write things down, and nothing I'm writing looks anything like what I'm conversing. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, what the fuck am I writing? And I couldn't connect with it. And finally, I ended that conversation, and that's when I came and said, what did you give me exactly? Oh, they were these CBD. And we looked at him, we go, oh, those are THC. I think he knew damn well. His wife said to him, you gave him how many? 3? She said, I take a half of one of those. So at least I know 3 work. So I'm going to do all of that preamble to say, I'm going to take 2 of these right now so they kick in by the time it's time for me to go to sleep, and I'm going to see if I sleep well. So I'm going to take 2 of those right now, and we'll see if it gets funny or not.
Oh, that was funny.
You can be the gauge.
Oh, Jesus. So that means it's going to be an early night. I better start talking pretty quickly then.
Yeah, start your talking now.
Before you start nodding off.
Boy, those are chewy.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
I was going to say about sleep patterns, right?
Mm-hmm. Sleep patterns.
Sleep patterns are like the bane of people when they get older. Like
Yeah.
my sleep patterns can change from day to day. I can feel exhausted after 10 hours sleep and invigorated after 2 hours sleep, or at least I think I am. I have this terrible habit of falling asleep on the couch or in my armchair, because because I'm too goddamn lazy to turn off all the lights and go to bed.
Yep.
So
Going to bed is a process. It's a thing.
It's a
like
thing. You have
there's
to
a
turn off
ceremony about
everything, and you have to shut down the laptop. You have to turn off the music. You have to turn off the TV.
Like, fuck it, I'm going to lay down on the couch.
Yeah. And the thing is, you never sleep well because normally what happens with me anyway, you wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning like this.
Yep.
And then you're having these horrendous nightmares where you think you're awake but you're not,
Yes.
and you're kind of half awake but half asleep. So that's an exhausting process, and your body is creaking and groaning because your hips are at a strange angle, and the blood is disappearing from your brain into your feet, and so your feet are bloated out. I'm talking about older people like us. So it's not a good idea to fall asleep in your armchair. It just isn't.
And I don't like it. I fall asleep on the sofa an awful lot. It could be we're watching TV, and if I wake up, especially when I wake up at 4 in the morning, 4:35, and I get up and I start doing stuff, by the time I bring the kids to school in the morning, so Rainey doesn't have to do that and get out of bed and do that. I'll do that in the morning. I'm back home by about 8:10. So I've been up usually at that point by 3 to 4 hours. And so I feel like I've already got a half a day in. But then I've got a whole day to do, and I've got radio at night and stuff like that. And so I feel it's okay for me to nod off a little bit. When Rainey and I will generally have lunch and watch a show or something on TV at lunchtime. And invariably, I'll always nod off through half of the show and wake up an hour and a half or 2 hours later. And I've got the couch syndrome then. It's what you said. It's like, okay, let me work at getting up out of this sofa. And, when I was a kid, 50 years ago, hopping out of the sofa is nothing. But now it's like, oh my God, this thing has sucked my body into the fabric.
Yeah, and it is actually quite amusing when you break it down, because you're actually, what you're telling your body is, as an older guy, you're telling your body, hey, you're just going to crash out for half an hour, and it'll feel like you've just been put through a rack or something like that, and you're going to wake up and you're going to be covered in aches and pains, and you won't know where you are, and you won't know what time of the day it is. But in your head, you're like, hey, I just had a power nap. That's great. But it doesn't work that way. When you get older, you kind of just need to go to bed. You need to say, I need to go to bed. And if you have to get up like mega early in the morning because of your job or your family or your commitments, well, then you need to go to bed at the reasonable time to accommodate that.
Time.
Yeah, because if you don't, you'll just end up exhausted, twice as exhausted as you ever were.
And that's the truth. And some of that, you think we all think that we can do things like we used to be able to do them, but now that we're getting older, our bodies react differently. It's Sarah even says sleep is one of the things that relies heavily on behavioral changes. And I changed my behavior and the way I do things. And I don't like I don't like being I was going to say victim. That's not the word. A slave to my sleep patterns,
Well,
because
that's like you don't like being a slave to your heart rhythms. I mean,
right,
you know,
right.
I mean, that's ridiculous, Scotty.
I know it is. It is
Um,
ridiculous because when I was a kid, you could defy those
yeah,
and come out on the much
of course.
smoother end than you can now.
You could stay out all night. You could stay up till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Come home. You could drink battery acid. You know, go
yep,
out and start a fight. You know,
yeah.
and then go to work.
Then go
We
to
could
work.
all do that when we were
Yeah,
kids or when
sure
we
we
were
did.
young adults. But when you get older now, it's very cruel. And you know the cruelest thing about the lack of sleep
What's
as
that?
an older male is that you wake up and you kind of think, oh, I feel pretty good today. I feel
Yeah,
pretty refreshed. I'll tell you what, maybe I'll bring all the kids off and we'll go to the beach or somewhere. We'll go for a drive in the woods. And,
yeah,
you know, you're halfway down the road after packing everything up and you go, I don't really want to do this.
yeah, yeah.
I want to go back to bed. You know?
I get that. I have those days. I had a day like that the other day. I'm like, I'm up and I'm like, hey, I've got energy today. I feel really good. I got a good night's sleep. I got a couple of good nights sleep. Let's go do this thing. And you get halfway through a hike in the woods, you're like, oh my God, you're gonna have to call the ambulance to come and get me out of the woods because I'm just done.
Whose idea was this again? It wasn't
And
mine.
what
No.
dumb shit came up with this idea? Uncle Dave,
Howdy, folks.
how you
Hey
doing?
Dave. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good.
I have, since I was in college, a 4-hour sleep cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a repertory company where we were in 3 shows and teching a show. And I was also the property master for the department, so I pretty much worked every show. And so between rehearsals and tech time and all that stuff, didn't have much time for sleep. So I was popping blue and clears. And I would do, which is basically a really high-powered caffeine pill. So I would do a Mountain Dew and a Blue and Clear for breakfast, and I'd take off to the theater. And I'd do a Mountain Dew and a Blue and Clear for lunch and go to the scene shop. And I would do a Mountain Dew and a Blue and Clear in the evening and go to the rehearsal and do that. And then just before bed, I would pop a Mountain Dew and a Blue and Clear so that I wouldn't miss my alarm in 4 hours and crash. And I would have what I called adrenaline dreams, where I slept and just shook all through my night. And to the point where I was losing huge amounts of weight. The costume department was mad at me because we were doing Guys and Dolls, and it's bad enough that I'm jazz dancing in that, but I was losing so much weight that they had to refit me for costumes like 8 times, and they were like, "Okay, I don't know what you're doing, but stop, stop. We only have so many suits." And to the point where my hair would hurt. So,
Your hair would hurt?
oh yeah, touching my hair, that was painful. And,
Wow.
and so I mentioned it to one of my friends who did speed a lot, and he's like, "Oh, dude, if your hair hurts, stop taking them."
Yeah.
That's a big sign that you're taking too much. And so I stopped, and we'd go to sleep, and 4 hours later I'd wake up, and that has never left my system. It's as if my body was saying, "Dude, if you want to get up in 4 hours, we'll just get up in 4 hours. Stop taking all this caffeine."
Yeah.
And so I still go to sleep, and it was funny because when I was younger, Susie would freak out because we'd be in bed, we'd go to bed, 4 hours later I wake up, I would just sit bolt upright in bed, just wide awake. And she's like, "Are you okay?" "Yep, I'm up."
Yep,
"What,
I'm good.
did we go to bed early?" "I guess we went to bed early." And she's like, "It's the middle of the night." "Oh, okay." And then I could lay down again, and I'd be out like a light, and 4 hours later I'd wake up again.
Yeah. There's a
She
lot of
always
people
said
like
the same thing when I woke up in bed.
yeah. There's a lot of people like that who especially if they sleep with somebody else for over long periods of time. It's usually a horror story from one person or another. You know,
It's always a horror story when you're
you know,
involved in a relationship.
Yeah. Do you realize that you every 4 hours you start screaming, in your sleep,
Nice.
or do you realize that you wave your arms about in the middle of the night, or do you realize that you get up and have a cup of tea and then come back to bed and you can't sleep, so you're shifting and turning and stealing the quilts, and you're a nightmare. I hate you.
Yeah.
Please
When
go
I was
away.
married,
Please leave my life immediately. So
when I was married, so I would go to bed with Amy at 10 o'clock. We'd put the kids to bed, we'd go to bed, and then she would fall asleep by 11. I would slip out of bed, go down the hall to the computer and write until about 4 in the morning. And then I would come back and slip back into bed and get up at 7 or 8 with the alarm and do all that every night.
I tend to be that way too. Rainey, when we were first together and got really serious, she would tell me, you knew Adam, the guy that she lived with for a few years. And she said, Adam would never come to bed with me when I wanted to go to bed. And she said, that always bothered me. Now, she didn't tell me, so you have to come to bed with me. But that was told for my benefit, I'm sure, because and so what did I do? I made sure I went to bed all the time at the same time as Rainey. And usually going to bed for us meant we'd go to bed and there'd be a TV on and we'd sit and talk or we'd whatever, and then you go to sleep. And so I always had it in my head at the beginning that I would go to bed when Rainey goes to bed, but I would lay there until we'd usually go to bed around 11 o'clock. But I'd be laying there it felt like a couple hours every night while she's sleeping, just going.
Yeah. What the hell? When we first married, that's what I finally just said, I'm just going to get up and go work.
Yeah. Because I had too much going on in my head.
Yeah.
I couldn't quiet my head. Maybe this is what Sarah Youssef means. Have you tried focused intention before bed?
Well,
no.
And when I was single,
I've never tried that.
When I was single, I found that between midnight and 4 a.m. is where I was most creative.
Night to work.
And so I would do all my painting then. I would do all my writing then. I would do all that creative stuff then, because I'm not being interrupted by somebody needing me to run here, go there, do this, do that. I could get stuff done.
Yeah.
And I would get more done in that window than all day long sometimes. And in fact, when I was in college, I had keys to everything because I was the head of the property department. So I would go over to the scene shop and build props and do that stuff in the middle of the night until the night where I stuck the drill through my thumb and I'm in the scene shop alone. Of course, number one rule, you're never in the shop alone, because if you get injured, there's no one there to help you.
Right.
And so I'm building shields, and I had curved this conduit to make the arc for the heater shields. I'm drilling holes in the conduit to set pop rivets. And the blade, the bit snapped, and the broken end of the bit went right through my thumb here.
Ow.
And I'm, Mr. Safety. I've damaged myself. I'm bleeding.
I have damaged myself. I must apply pressure.
I grab a rag and I wrap a rag around it, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty bad. I'd better head over to the ER and have them do something with that.
And you hated doing that because that bit into your schedule. It's
what I hated is
ER.
This is not going to be a secret. This is not something I can just brush off. The tech directors are going to know about it. The department heads are going to know about it. Everybody's going to know about it. That was not cool for me. But I'm going through the process. I shut down the tool room, put everything away. I'm shutting lights down. I get my coat on. It's middle of January and it's a bitter cold night. And I picked up my keys and reached for the light. And as I reached for the light, I went, oh my, and I could feel myself blacking out. So I fall against a pile of wood, a bunch of 4x8 sheets, hit the light switch on my way down, slide down the 4x8 sheets. They have now covered the light switch. So I can't, when I come to, I'm not able to find the light switch in the dark. I drop my keys.
That's how old people die.
I wake up I come to, and it's still black because everything's just pitch black because the lights are out. And then took me a little bit to realize, okay, I am awake and my eyes are open. So I'm crawling around on the floor, find my keys, can't find the light switch, but I find the doorknob and I get myself out into the street light and go, okay. I better not drive on the main street. I'll drive through campus, which takes 3 times as long to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid I might pass out again. And I figure I can't do too much damage if I drive through campus at, 4 in the morning or whatever. No, South Dakota State University.
All right. University of Minnesota. Huge.
So I get in the car. I'm driving. I'm kind of weaving around. I get across campus. I get to the hospital. I go inside and I show them what's happened. And they're like, oh, yeah, that looks really bad. Ooh. There's no doctors there because it's the middle of the night.
Right.
They have a nurse. They soak my thumb in some betadine solution and call for a doctor to come in. And he looks at it and he's like, oh, yeah, it looks torn off. Bandages is up. Sends me on my way. I don't find out for a week and a half that it didn't tear the nail off. It corkscrewed it down through my thumb.
Nice.
So my thumb is not healing, and it's super tender to the touch anywhere on it, the nerve, because it's right into a nerve. So in the middle of the night, because it always happens in the middle of the night,
always.
I get up and I'm going to change the bandage because it's starting to bleed through the gauze again. And I'm looking at it and I realize, oh, well, that's still in there. So I get out some needle nose pliers,
of course,
and a diagonal cutters, and I pull that out of my thumb and clip it off.
Hell yeah.
Wrap it all up, and within 3 days, it was healing.
Well, that's
good. And I was so mad at that ER doctor. If he'd have just looked at the damn thing, he'd have seen it that night.
Yeah, if he'd have looked at it.
That's exactly what I use.
A
needle nose, just like that.
Here you go.
And then a diagonal cutters to cut the damn thing up. And so the nail is an interesting piece of human flesh because it grows from the base up and from the root out. So it grows in 2 directions at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you gain thickness and you gain length when your nail's growing. Mine has a split down it. And so because I split the root, and so it grows out in 2 pieces in single layers coming up. And if I catch that edge on anything, it peels it right back.
Yikes.
So just to remind me of not being stupid and working in the scene shop alone at night. So
there it is. There it is. You are reminded now.
Forever.
What a great story.
Isn't that a good story?
And I just, all I can think of is the end of the story with these kind of 2 little hooky nails that you have.
Yeah.
So I keep clear nail polish on, and I often wear nail polish because it creates a single layer over that.
As long as it's the right color.
Clear is the color. I don't wear weird colors.
So do you guys get this too? The older I get, and anybody old out there listening, you know what I feel first is my eyes. All day, if I'm tired or got a bad night's sleep, it shows in my eyes and I feel it in my eyes. I feel like my eyes just want to go close. I want to suck my brain out through my eye sockets.
I'm laughing here because we're like 3 stages of aging. There's you talking about your eyes, and then Niall with his short beard and glasses, and me with my tidy glasses and super long beard.
There
it's like we're aging progressively across the street.
Exactly, yeah. This is, and the next stage is like, we're kind of like in a little crawled up in a little ball covered in hair. Yeah.
What is top coat? Oh, Sarah Yusuf.
I think
probably top coat. I think she's talking about the thumbnail polish.
I think what you're talking about, Scotty, is
a top coat. Yes, you're right, Sarah.
The puffy-eyed,
eye syndrome.
Yeah, where it's like you look like you've just been hit in the eye.
Yeah.
By 5 guys. And you wake up and you can't quite focus, and your eyes are.
I get puffy-eyed.
You can't quite open them.
Like the other day when I had the cupcake, and my brother-in-law DJ walks up and he goes, "Scotty," he goes, "You're squinting." I said, "It's THC eye, I call it." you know. So
Yeah,
same when I'm really tired.
I love DJ.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
But
So
anyway, all about sleep. Yeah, yeah. I mean, sleep is
yeah,
just and
The
and
the,
and,
the
and
thing that really puts me out is pain. If my body is in pain, my body will go to sleep, and I'll just sleep through all that stuff.
mhm.
But I remember, Scotty, you mentioned earlier on something about sleeping with somebody who, or somebody you know, or it was a while ago before Dave started talking. But I remember having a girlfriend where she wouldn't come to bed with me, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"What's wrong with me? What is it? Did I shower today? I think I showered today, you know." And but of course you've just met, you know, and she's like, "Oh,
yeah,
I'm just going to stay here and watch." You know, I stay up late. Yeah, you go to bed. Yeah, okay. For the first couple of nights, that's fine. And then eventually you're like, "What's going on? You know, what's going on?"
yeah,
And she's like, "Oh no, I've always slept on the couch. I never go to bed." That's ridiculous. You have to try and go to bed, and then you get annoyed and say, "Well, listen, you know, we're a couple now, so we have to sleep together at least."
yeah.
I don't do the couch thing, and there's no room anyway, so you know, okay, but you know, we have to turn on the TV in the bedroom. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, I have to have a voice in my head. Jesus Christ. I know how to pick them, don't I? You know, you have to have a voice in your head. And she was like,
Yes.
yeah, just a talk show, you know, down low. And so I said, no problem. So, you
Have
know,
you
got
tried a
into bed.
mallet?
And she put on, you know,
Yeah,
something like Jerry Springer or something. And this wasn't a talk
yeah. It
show.
puts me to
These are
sleep.
people screaming at each other, you know,
Right, right.
you know, and it wasn't at a small, low volume. It was kind of fairly high volume. And she's like, "Oh, that's perfect." And I was like, I was lying in bed going, "What the
Oh boy.
fuck? This is nuts. This is nuts." And I'm still friends with that person, you know, and we still
Good.
laugh about that. But sleeping with another person is kind of, it's really hit and miss, you know. I mean, it's I've never, in fact, most people I've ever talked to about sleeping with another person, it's usually like you have to sort of compromise in some fashion. You know,
Yes.
I've never met any couple who would go to sleep and just have a blissful night's sleep together, wake up at the same time. Good morning, darling. Good morning, darling. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? Normally, it's like you snore all
Or
night.
have that rose for your
Yeah,
teeth.
yeah. You fart too much. You were
Yeah.
up during the night. You went to the bathroom too much. You know, you move around too much. Your elbows in my eye. All this kind of stuff. You know, and that is really really funny, and
It
it kind of
is.
it kind of begs the question. I'm not sure that we're actually meant to
Are we meant to sleep together?
sleep together. You know,
My grandparents had separate bedrooms always.
yeah,
Well, even look back in history.
it makes more sense. I mean,
Kings and
but
high lords and noblemen, they all had their own bedrooms, the
hell,
master
if you
bedroom.
want to go back 50,000 years, you know, even in the caves, you know, it's like they weren't like snuggled up together. Except you might do that for warmth and
Get off my
protection,
rock.
but it's not because you know they were in love with each other or anything like that. It's just like you know,
Now,
get the
it's
hell
like
out. Yeah, yeah. It's
Rainey
like
and I right now.
yeah,
We are in separate rooms, but not because we want to be a separate room couple.
Mm.
There is I've got the master bedroom all set up in that room with the huge master bed, and Dave's seen it. He's down here helping me get this all ready, and it's all fairly decorated, and we still have some things to do. But
Doesn't
Rainey
have a
doesn't want to
ceiling.
sleep down there while there's not a ceiling in it. There's just the rafters, and these I sprayed and I painted them. They're all black. It's like a studio in here. That room, it's the raw rafters, and so I could spray those, or I was going to drop a ceiling in there. Inexpensive dropped ceiling, but looks nice. And so Rainey says, I'm not sleeping down there until you've got all the spider holes covered up. That means putting in
yeah, because she's afraid of something falling on her
yeah,
during
and
the
she's
night.
got anxiety, so that attacks her a
And
different way.
I can understand that. I mean, if I had a series of rafters above my head, I would be terrified that a
Yeah,
mouse would fall down or
and I'm
you
fine.
know.
I sleep down here because the option is she
Mm,
sleeps up with the 7-year-old. It's like, I ain't sleeping in the bed with the child. Child's too old.
Yeah.
The child coming in.
Not only that, they kick and flop around all night long.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And Rainey said, I take up too much of the bed. And I said, well, there was a time where just before we moved here, I was sleeping in the bed and the child was in the bed and Rainey was in the bed. And I got about this much bed, what am I talking here? I feel like about 1.5 feet of bed on a huge king size bed that I got to lay down on. And I said, kids have got to be out of our bed. Kids,
children always take up the crucifix position in the bed.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Or else the swastika position.
The swastika.
Kaylee would come in. Kaylee would come in the middle of the night, crawl in bed between us. We had a big king size. Crawl in bed between us. She'd have the full-on footied pajamas and zip-up pajamas. It's winter time and everything. And she would get under the covers, and then she would get hot. So she'd bring her feet up by her shoulders and then flop all the covers off. So then Amy and I wake up, and we're freezing because we have no covers on. And pull the covers back on, and about 20 minutes later, flop, and all the covers. Like, what the hell? Why are you doing that? It's too hot. Go back to your room.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Here?
And I don't mind the kid crawling in with us every now and then. I don't want it as a general rule. She's got her own bedroom. We've set up her own bedroom. She's got her own furniture. She's got her own decorations in there. She does her own thing. Rowan has the lights, the little like Christmas lights hanging, and her room's all pink and blue. And you have to walk in and you expect, there to be this ethereal music playing in the background with the look
little
of her
fairies flying around and gnomes running around or something.
Flynn is all tech, he's all TVs and computers and game playing stuff and his fossils. And, I got this room down here. The upside for right now, you
get really good
sleep is that I have the room all to myself. It's kind of like, there's the upside. Well, I got a room to myself. I can put my things away and I can keep it neat. And I make the bed every day, which doesn't happen when you have two people in the bed and they get up at different times. But the bed's made every day. And so Rainey,
that's kind of interesting, don't you think, Scotty? It's almost like you're reverting back in a way to.
He's in touch with his feminine side.
Yeah, to the side that
not feminine to make your bed.
Remember, you touched on
Drill
the
sergeant,
word,
sir.
Yeah, respect earlier on.
Yeah.
Respect is like resending expectation. It's the same word as resent. Resent. It's like respect is resending expectation.
There it is.
So I expect this and I get this back and blah blah blah. And
I don't have expectations that are set in like, I am the man of the house and you will respect me because these are my expectations. I don't have that going on.
No.
But I do say, look, I'm a guy. I have certain expectations. My expectations are that my wife is going to sleep with me. My expectations that my child's going to sleep in their own bed. My expectation is that my children will heed my call. My children will do what I say. And I said I have certain expectations in life.
Yeah.
And any of those
I
happen?
only said that.
No.
I only said that because earlier in the show you actually asked for what people would define respect as. That's the only reason I gave my definition of respect.
Yeah.
But your expectations are your expectations of respect, or your resending of expectations, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
is perfectly normal. It doesn't always work out that way.
No.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of kids because I find them very annoying most of the time. But now and again, you come across a child who's very intelligent and very smart, and they'll ask you questions, and you're like, "What? Oh my God!" That's pretty. You're not supposed to be asking me questions about. She might say, why are you so ugly? Or something
so ugly.
like that.
Ugly.
Well, what do you mean by that? Well, you're kind of weird looking. I said, well, yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
And then, I remember a child once said, you look like you just crawled out of a swamp. I was like, that's really good. Did you read that somewhere? No. Well, yeah, of course I read that somewhere. But they just kind of, I like kids who are like very honest.
Yes.
But at the same time, we have a saying in Ireland that you don't lick this off the road. You kind of like, the way kids speak, because they're like sponges, they just surround themselves with information that they can digest, and then they just project it out because they don't have a filter.
Ellery is like that to a certain extent.
Yes.
I think all three of the kids are. When you have them one-on-one, you can have long, intelligent conversations with them about deep subjects.
Yep.
But when they're more than one of them then there becomes that rivalry thing.
Yep.
And it just devolves into name calling and pushing and punching and whatever.
Yeah. And
Ellery said to me not long ago, saw some old pictures came up, and it's my Google album or something. My Google, all my pictures go up there, and so I can scroll back and find I can go all the way back to like 2004 and look at pictures that I have uploaded over the years. And so we're looking through, and Ellery asked me when my other kids were younger and in the house, and she says, "Dad, what happened to you?" I said, "What? What do you mean?" They're like, "Your hair isn't white, and there's a lot of it, and you're not fat."
Brilliant.
And I'm like,
brilliant.
Well, thank you very much for that. And Rainey will always say,
show some respect.
Show some respect, you little brat. And Rainey will say, "No, that's normally not the way you want to talk to an adult." And
but at the same time, you can't blame them for that, because their filters aren't aligned with
Yep.
With our
and she was genuinely not getting it. This is you. Why did you look so different? And so and my little one always, Dave, Ellery is always like, "Yeah, my dad's an old man," and she'll say, and she kept insisting last week that I was turning 63, not 62. I said, "Darling, I'm turning 62." I said, "Not that it matters when you're 60." I said, 62, 63, 64, it's all the same thing. And she said, "No, you're definitely 63. And I said, "Well, do the math. November of 1960 to November of 2020. And it's a foreign concept. I think at that point, she just wanted to be right.
From what you told me tonight, I really like your youngest. I think she's very smart.
She is
very unfiltered, but very curious, and she'll just say it as it is.
Yeah.
So when if she would say to Rainey, for example, I'm not suggesting she uses this language, but
sure,
hypothetically, if she said, "You bitch," or something like that,
yeah,
and you came into the kitchen and said,
"It's been done.
Don't say that to your mom, you little bitch." How do you feel if I said that to you?
Yeah.
So it's like reverse psychology. She'd probably start crying and be like, and Rainey would look at you like, "Did you just say that to her?
Did you just say to her?"
Yeah. But
I use the same language she used with me, Rainey?
Exactly. It's kind of reverse, and chances are she won't use it again. And if she uses it again, it'll be in a different context, because she's like, "Well, if Dad uses that word against me, well, then it's ineffectual for me to use that word against Mom."
I still remember the first time the twins dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah.
It was during a party that Scotty was having, and the room was full of adults, and they came down the hall having a discussion, and they dropped the F-bomb, and it went silent in the entire house.
The whole house was silent.
No one had it, and they were like 12 maybe at the time. It was
12 or 13.
Yeah, right around there. And everyone was just shocked. It just like, did you and overall everyone's kind of like, what? There's a little murmur, and I'm like, hey, that was totally in context. That was the proper use of that word.
Yeah. Oh, the other night, and I missed it because I was stoned. It was at my brother-in-law's. But we were looking at the sky, and I was talking about the stars. I said, man, look at how crisp and clear the stars are.
God, you really were stoned. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a crisp, clear night. And Ellery is over there doing something, and she goes, like Uranus. And I said, and I wasn't catching it because she was picking up on the joke we taught her.
Yeah.
She goes,
That's
like Uranus.
brilliant.
And
That's
I said,
brilliant.
no, the stars are bright and twinkly tonight, like Uranus. And she kept saying that. And finally, it took Rainey to go, she's talking about Uranus. And I went, oh, Ellery, that was very funny.
Yeah. No, it is very funny. And
Like
she's a real, I've seen her on the show a couple of times. She's a real character, she's a real character.
She is.
She's kind of natural, like look at me kind of stuff,
Sometimes
she's very much got to look at me. Yeah.
Which is something you're probably hinting at tonight. I respect your elders and know your place and all this kind of stuff.
Did you see what she was posting on YouTube tonight?
Ellery? I don't follow Scotty's
she
kids.
These TikToks, and it's like she's not even supposed to be on TikTok, but she does it. What she put on YouTube?
So she had this age filter on her to make her look like a little old lady. And she was talking, and then she
Ellery or Rowan?
Ellery. And then she leans into the camera, and she goes, "I'm going to be watching you through your window."
Yeah.
What?
It was very creepy and totally funny, and I'm like, "Oh, I love that."
You're freaking Scotty out now. He's like, what?
I'm looking for it to see if I can actually. It's like,
do I need to send it to you?
Where the heck did she do that? Now, if it was on my, not YouTube. What'd you say it was? It was
TikTok. I think he said, or
TikTok.
Instagram.
I don't have TikTok. Well, I do have Instagram, but I thought it was on YouTube that I was looking at it.
Someplace that those things show up. If I go to Google Photos, it'll sometimes show up in here. But
it showed up in my feed. Oh, I might have been on Instagram.
She doesn't have an Instagram.
Reels?
Oh, then she was doing it somewhere, and Facebook was probably picking it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did she say again, Dave? What did she say?
I'm going to be watching, or I'm going to look. I'm trying to think how she said it. I'm going to look through your window, or late at night, I'm going to come and look through your window, or something like that. It's very creepy.
Smart kid. And
Nice.
See, the thing is, I told you earlier on, we have this expression that we don't lick it up off the ground. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what is she surrounded by all day, with you, Scotty?
Yeah.
Swords on the wall.
Yep.
She overhears your radio conversations, your book covers,
Gummy
this
bears.
fantasy thing, the Renaissance stuff that you go to. All this kind of stuff is like, all of these kids.
I was showing that for Rapid Dog.
Yeah, all of these kids might be, very impressionable. Some of them might be like, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous." I'm just, but a lot of kids pick up on that stuff and the horror side of things.
I think Ellery is the sum total of her older siblings and her mom and dad.
Yes.
Because we've always been that way around the kids, and our lives are. We generally don't pull any punches. We generally don't. Oh, that's improper in front of the kids, except the obvious things. Ellery will be the first one when I'm hugging Rainey. No sex time tonight, you guys. And she tries to squeeze in the middle. No sexy time. And it's like, I'm just hugging your mom.
That's brilliant, though, isn't it? Isn't that a brilliant thing to say? Like, sex time for you guys tonight. I have lots of questions for tomorrow.
And I told her, I said, there's
it's total manipulation. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I said, when mom and dad have sex time, we don't want to hear it. I say, when we send you all to school, school and camp, see you guys, have fun. What do parents do when they go on a trip? We sleep in. So at the hotel.
Listen, I'm going to let you guys go, but I'll just say one last thing. Respect is that enjoy those times with your kids, because
absolutely irreplaceable moments of time.
Yeah, especially your youngest, because she looks and sounds like a real character.
She is,
and
I think
that's to be encouraged, even though she might drive you crazy.
She drives me crazy some days.
Yes. Okay. Good night, folks.
See you, Niall. Good to have you, brother.
Time.
See you later. All right, it's just you and me now, Mr. Potter.
I wonder if she posted it on the Messenger family site. Look on your Messenger.
Oh, she posted something on that.
Look on your Messenger.
Now that you mention that, she posted something on Messenger to the family page. Did I have you on the family page?
Yep, I'm on there. So I got it 3 times because I'm on a personal one and I'm on.
Let's see what this one is, if this is it. What bird are you?
Talked about looking like her grandma. I think she means her great grandma.
This is what kind of bird are you? She's got on that.
No, not that one. Look, it's got an old age filter.
Yeah, I don't see that one here. Unless it's on our other family. We've got 2 family groups, one that include Abby, Bryn, and Zach, and other ones that don't. But
try the other one.
Ellery Roberts sent a video to me.
Yep.
Oh, she sent a bunch of videos to me.
Yeah, she did. But it's like the last one in the group. It's like the last one in the group.
I see some with animated puppy faces.
Nope, it's look at the last one in the group.
Yeah, it's the same one, that bird one.
Well, then look, then maybe she sent another one since
She might have. I'm looking at some of these and trying to see what the heck she's doing. That's just a still there. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't make for good radio anyway.
Yeah.
So,
it's hilarious.
What was it that was going on? We played Monopoly last night. Rainy, all of us, the whole family. Now, we had never played Monopoly together before. We've played games, but not Monopoly. And I thought, oh, is the kid going to get this? And Rainey said, she's got an easy plan. Everybody starts and they get 3 properties, and there's this rule and this, she changes. So everybody, and that game dragged on. That was about a 3.5 hour game. Toward the end of that, you're going, okay, I'm done. Bankrupt me, please. And, but we had a lot of fun with that. And I've got an Indiana Jones Monopoly game that I've never played, and it's in a crate, like the old crate they nailed up the Ark of the Covenant in.
Yeah.
A square box like that. It's made out of wood, and it looks like the Nazi crate. And so I've got that. It's in a box somewhere. I got to find that and pull that out. Have the kids play that. I've got this great game that I have not played yet. And I don't know. I had it out, but it was a park and rec or a national parks game that I only bought it because it looked so good. Let's see. I might have it in this cover. Did I put it in there? Nope. Nope. I don't know where I put it. So, but it's a beautiful game, and the artwork on it is beautiful. And I want to play that with the family. It doesn't look like an extremely complicated game. It's a card game and stuff. And
yeah.
No, seriously, I don't know what I did with it. It was on that shelf, sitting right up there forever until
another item missing.
Put stuff up there. Now that one's not missing. I remember taking it off of there. I just don't remember where I put it, which is odd. There's not many places it could be in here. Anyway, all of that to say, I was just going to show it off. It's a beautiful game, and it gives you a good feeling and a good vibe. The ad I saw for it when it was first being made was an ad that it had some neat guitar music and very calming, and it sounded like the great outdoors. Here, talk for a second, Dave. I'm going to look and see if I set it over here.
All right. Well, while he's off looking at that, what in the world has everybody been up to? Is Bauer in here tonight? I sent him a
I
bunch
haven't
of
seen him.
stuff to look at, and I may have sent him down a rabbit hole tonight. There was an interesting video I came along, and I'm like, oh, I think this is up your alley, and I sent it to him just before the show. And he's like, oh, that looks interesting. And so we haven't seen him, so I may have sent him down a rabbit hole tonight.
All right.
So where is everyone else at? Chuck and Rabbit Dog and Barbara and Sarah, are you still there? You haven't commented for a while. You out there being quiet?
Yeah, I had misplaced it somewhere. I took it off the shelf and
Yeah,
put it
it's not good
somewhere.
radio. We'll just leave it be.
Yeah. Like I said, not good radio. Good for the video, but because I'll bring it out one night and show it off. It's really pretty game. Well done. And
have you gotten any painting done this week?
No. I've got
I
some
haven't either.
digital illustration work done.
Oh, well,
week.
good. You're doing better than I am.
Yeah.
I haven't touched the paints at all because I with my back out, I can't sit in the chair that I paint from. It's just too painful. So,
oh boy.
So I went and had a chiropractic visit today, and I'm not as crooked as I was this morning, but I'm still not standing straight. They gave me a ball to lay on, which is just oh so lovely. Lay on the floor and put this ball under my back and roll around on it.
Nice.
You know, so yeah, because it's not painful enough. I can stick this thing in there and add to my pain. So
yeah, how about that? I've been working on. I was working on a digital illustration today, and it's one that Rainey wanted me to do for some leggings for a company my daughters are putting up. And I've done a bunch of art for leggings for them.
Oh, cool.
And this would also be for tumblers. And she showed me this piece of art that I wasn't overly fond of it. And she wanted me to base something on that. And I'll show this for the sake of the chat room.
While you're pulling that up. So I'll
pull that up.
Came across a sculptor that does relief work. You know, I've been sending you that plaster stuff because I'm starting to get into plastering and doing 3D relief work into our murals because I think it'll add another layer of things that we can do.
Right.
Anyways, I came across an artist who was doing these angels coming out of the wall, and it sent me in a totally different direction. And I jumped online real quick and reached out to Bryn and Abby because I see it as mermaids coming out of the wall. And so Bryn and I have been chatting back, and I said, what if we did it not as a wall relief, but did it as a sculpture as a floor-based thing of two mermaids breaching like dolphins do. And so they're coming up out of the floor, like the floor is the water, and they're coming up, rising up out of the water. Oh. And I said, you could do them in marble. You could do it. You do it in plaster, but I mean, you could paint it to look like marble, or you could paint it lifelike and really show off your product. And so we're chatting back and forth on that right now.
That's cool. Now, this is a piece of art that Rainey sent to me, and she said, can you do something like this? And I'm like, have you been married to me for 17 years or not? And, you know, I said, can I do that?
I can do everything.
I can do anything you need done. And so she sent me this piece of artwork right here and asked if I could reproduce this somehow. And here it is. It's loading. There it is. I'll show you.
I'm looking on the big screen, so I see bigger.
Right there. Now, it's got a woman in there. If you can't make it out, if you guys are looking at your screens, and it's got a woman in there with a couple of what were obviously not, they were clipped graphics from somewhere else, and slapped in by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's okay. It shows creativity, but it doesn't have that edge that I would look for if I was hiring a person to do something.
Yeah.
And so Rainey said, "Can you do that?" And I said, "I could do something like that." I said, "Do you mind if I use you?"
I can do
in
that,
there?
but not so poorly.
Yes, I can do that, but I said I think I could improve on that. And let's see, it's in a different folder. That's the original. Well, what's it called? Yeah. All right.
So I've started laying out the next two Viking paintings. I'm on the tablet right now. The next one is the sacking of York.
Cool.
And then the third one in the Warrior series is Valhalla. And I see Valhalla as being silhouetted. The path, you're on a path up to the gates, and the doors of the longhouse are swung open, and the light is pouring forth from it. And there's a couple of Valkyries up by the door, and there's a line of warriors walking up this path, and they're all translucent until the front two, just as you're crossing into Valhalla, you turn corporeal, so you become solid. So you have two solid ones stepping into Valhalla, and you have some 15% gradient behind them, and then so on and so forth, till you're just really translucent down in the foreground. So you're seeing through these warriors as they're going into the Valhalla.
That's cool.
I think it'll be a very cool painting.
Oh, I like it. I like the sound of it. I would like to do some of those paintings like they do, the military artists do, historical military stuff. So, okay, well, by the way, here, take a look at this piece I already posted. That's what Rainey said. And I said, I could do something a little better. I said, I'm going to use you as a model, though. I said, it's naked woman, but I said, you can do the nude thing without it being too. So here's what I did. Here's my version. Boom.
Oh, I was going to say, is this the Christmas bulb? I thought I saw one that looked like yes, I saw that earlier.
No, it's a crescent moon at the bottom. And so
you could print those on Christmas bulbs to hang on trees.
You could. And but I had to make this look less like, she said, it looks a little too much like me. She said, I don't care. She said, but there were reasons that
I'm a scoutmaster.
It should, scoutmaster. It should look like every woman, kind of thing. Yeah. Any woman could picture herself in the picture. And
the so there's scouts a few are all downloading this.
Yeah. So I've got to. I had put it on my Instagram. Then I took it down because she said, take that down not because she's bashful about it. She's looked like that in a hell of a lot of pictures I posted. It was that it was awesome. There was a business aspect of it that she thought needed to. The girls are going to be putting up a site that is going to be a generic. And so she said, maybe you don't have your name or my face associated to it. So that's the only reason I took it down there. But here it is. I'm just showing you. And I got a few more elements I want to put in there.
Gorgeous.
But I don't want to clutter it either. So, but I deliberately left nipples off. I didn't think nipples were necessary for what I was trying to do is this ethereal piece of work, as opposed to, literal naked woman's body.
Yeah.
And so I've got her coming out of the old tree and stuff like that. So there it is. But that's a piece I'm working on right now. So Rapid Dog wants to know how long it takes to grow a beard like yours.
Well, so I started it as I started through the chairs, and it's a 7-year process to go through the chairs. So, and then I had to fill a hole in our line, so I dropped back a chair after I was master, and then became master again. So I'd say 8 years.
8 years.
And I can't wait to cut it off. I'm days away from like the first week in December. We'll have our official elections, and my replacement will be named. and I will be done in the East. And I've got to have a portrait done, and I've got an 1800s frock coat over here and a waistcoat and stuff, and I'm going to do my portrait in 1800s clothing, just so that down the road, when people are looking at all the masters on the wall, because we hang all our pictures on the wall, and they're looking at the masters going back to the 1800s, and then they're in the 70s, and the 70s really stand out because of the wide ties and the loud coats and all of that. And then you get into the 80s, and it's the spiky hair and whatever, and then you get into the 90s, and then what the
yeah, what happened? Oh, hey, Wendy.
Hello,
Wendy, darling.
how are you?
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
Going?
Hello.
How's it going, boys?
It's
Good.
going. What's shaking over there in Canada?
Oh, just Tina and I have just had a good day, up to all kinds of mischief as you do.
Mischief, yes.
I could have said naughtiness, but I said
Naughtiness. I wish you would.
Naughty. She said the word naughty.
I said the word naughty.
There it
She said it this morning on KB's too.
I know. Well, if I don't say it on KV's show, he gets very upset because
Yes, he gets upset.
he likes me to say things like marvelous and naughty.
Yes.
So how was the show? I missed some of it. What was going on?
It was all right.
It was good. We talked about respect.
Okay. With children, is that right?
Yep. And it was all right. It was brain was a little tired tonight for some reason. So it was a little not as sharp as it could have been, but
I'm just
now
picture
beginning
was
of the
fuzzy,
captain's
too.
cabin, I took a couple of these. So I sleep well tonight.
Oh, that's probably why you're sleeping really well, you know.
Yeah, I was sleeping well from the meds, and I want to get off. I don't want to use the meds. I don't like being I felt
As on the
those 2 mornings, I felt super pharmaceuticaled, and
drugs.
yeah, and so I don't like that. So I'm going to try this. I've had these sitting around here for a while.
Never mind, Scotty. Tomorrow you've got me.
That's right,
Yeah,
I do.
And I will keep you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Oh,
4 o'clock Central.
3 o'clock Canada.
You
10
had me
o'clock
at keep you.
UK. It's so
So-
nice that I can join you.
Robertson, ladies and gentlemen.
Roberts and Robertson.
Yes, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Be there.
It's
or
going to be 3
somewhere.
p.m. in Calgary,
Yeah.
where Wendy is right now, instead of 3 in the morning. Realize
Yeah.
it's a 12-hour flip on the time zones for you.
It is, and normally I was just saying to my bestie here that normally my eyes are swinging around in my head now, going, I need to go to bed. But actually today, it's
Finally
okay.
caught up.
Yeah, it's not so bad. How are you, Uncle Dave?
I'm great. I'm in pain.
Look at your beard. It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, yeah.
Like a tree.
tentacles.
It's like a
Yeah.
tree growing out.
It's just awful. It just keeps going.
We need to like trim it and shape it.
Yeah.
He's gonna cut it all off.
It's coming off.
Really, you're going to take it
Yeah.
off?
Oh yeah. By the end of the month, it'll be gone.
I think you should do a charity thing or something, like when you like take it off.
Well, I'll save the hair for Scotty. Locks of Love. I've got to make him a wig for.
Locks of Love. Oh my God. You mean Robertson and Roberts?
That's what
Absolutely.
Sarah says. Robertson and Roberts, but it didn't flow right.
No.
Robertson and Robertson.
Well, technically Robertson would
Robertson,
be first,
Robertson. There
and
it
then Roberts would come after because you're the set.
It's like saying Robertson twice.
I know.
That's the play on words.
I think Robertson is absolutely a really.
That's brilliant.
It's a
It's
really.
beautiful.
Oh, listen to me being all British. That was brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's. What's the other one we say? Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, marvelous.
Or as they say in
As
San
Cat
Francisco,
wanted to say.
fabulous.
Fabulous.
It's fabulous. That's what I call. I'm gonna get Ken a mug with fabulous on it, so he drinks out of it every day. And absolutely, I would be scared it would get caught in the blender. Oh, your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worry about that every day.
Yours is very petite.
There, he just tucks it in. There it is.
Wow, you look like a whole new man, Uncle Dave.
Yeah, looks totally different,
Crazy.
doesn't it?
It's crazy, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you know, I went to the college today. I went out to have a look at the university today, and I have to tell you, it's like a maze. I don't know. I felt really old with all these youngsters around, and I was just like, and they don't have a clue. Go here, talk to that person, go up the escalator, go around this. And when you get there, there's still nobody to talk to. And I was just like, right, okay, we're calling it quits now. And until another day. It was manic, but it's really cold here. Really cold. Yeah.
It's getting cold here overnight.
Very nipply. Very nipply.
Oh.
Very.
Very.
Yeah. Yep. I went out there and I
was like,
oh my God, it is cold. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But London, I'm not. I think London's a little bit warmer today. But I saw you guys were on, and I thought I would just come on and say hello.
Well, I'm glad you did. Is your friend there? Does she want to make an appearance?
Tina,
and come and say hi. Come and say hello.
She's looking at me with daggers in her eyes.
Come on.
Are you smuggling funnels or is it nipply out?
Yes.
She's shy. She's absolutely shy. She's like, oh.
Well, tell her it's just Dave and me.
Yeah, come on, Tina. Just don't be shy.
She's going.
Come on, Tina. Come on. We'll show you our rodeo dance. Oh, hey, Tina.
Hello, Scotty.
I've seen lots of pictures of you.
Hello.
And I've heard all about
you.
Hello.
These are actually very nice men.
We're actually very nice men.
Totally
She's
nice.
watched the show, actually.
Totally nice, eh?
All right. I'm glad that you watched the show. We get to do another edition tomorrow.
And I will not be watching tomorrow. I will be working.
Oh, you'll be working.
No. You can watch it later, though. That's the beauty of the internet.
It is.
Yep. And she's my best friend, so she has to watch it.
Yeah. Now, are you from Canada or are you from Great Britain? I think I detected no Great British accent there.
No, I'm from Canada. I've been here my whole life.
Okay. In Calgary area?
Yep.
Okay. So it's nice up there. It's gorgeous up there.
It depends. Where? In the Calgary area or Canada?
Canada. Well, I thought where you are in Calgary, you've got that's a beautiful city. You got beautiful surroundings out there.
It is. Yeah, it is beautiful.
Things are flying around.
Cold right now, and you got to learn to love the snow, right? But it is.
Yeah.
Well, see,
we're from
Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I live just about an hour east of there now, over in Wisconsin. So we get the Arctic blasts here in the wintertime. And it gets pretty crazy.
You share your nice Canadian cold with us all the time.
Yeah.
You're generous that way.
See, we like to share. We're known to that.
Yeah.
They said we have a Canadian clipper moving in tonight. And so
hey, those people down in Minnesota, they're getting a little warm. Let's give them some cold.
That's right. I think A doesn't come from the Calgary area, does it? It's like up in Canada, they all talk like this and they're like, hey, we're going to come down and we're going to bring down our weather with us, eh?
You realize we actually don't sound like that right across.
That's like Winnipeg.
Oh yeah, sure. People think that Minnesotans talk like this all the time.
I think it's a Winnipeg thing.
It's not a Winnipeg thing though. But I've also been asked if I live permanently in an igloo, which I do not. I actually live in a home.
I know. They think the same thing of us.
Well, they think about this area. They think it's frozen tundra year round. It's like, no, it gets up into the hundreds.
If I don't like them, I tell them it is. Oh, yeah, it gets really warm in the summertime, sometimes up to 40 degrees.
Yeah, we get out and we expose our skin for 15 minutes to the cold elements to get a tan. So.
Oh, I know that.
Send them pictures of the polar plunge, and they're like, this is us swimming in the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got
they don't move here.
The ice water plunge, in the lakes. They'll carve out a big hole when it's 20 below zero. And, you'll go to show your stamina, I guess, or something. I'm diving in a freezing cold lake through a hole cut in the ice for charity. It's like, And where do I just get? Can I just give 20?
What they don't show you is behind the cameras are like 17 ambulances with paramedics standing there ready to start your heart again.
Well, you see, poor girl, she's knackered. She's doing a college course, or university
I'm doing my
course.
undergraduate degree.
Undergraduate degree.
All right.
Yeah.
In what?
In what? I was just going to say, in what?
I'm getting my bachelor's of commerce and entrepreneur management.
All right.
Excellent.
Well,
Thank you.
now
Beauty and
been
brain, Scott.
talking about starting a business together for a while, so maybe that's going to come in handy.
Well, it comes in handy for that. It also comes in handy with what I currently do. So,
What do you currently do? Can I ask?
I'm in finance right now and have been for the last 17 years.
Wow.
I want to be financed.
We've got something in common there. I want to be financed. You're in finance.
I'm an artist that seeks financing. So that's
Yeah. You know, all Dave and I are missing are the wealthy, what do they call, not sponsors, what do they call them? The wealthy patrons of the arts. You know, I need like a Pope Gregory saying, I want you to paint the ceilings of my chapel.
But not a stingy Pope. We want someone that can afford like 6 or 8 candles at a time.
Well,
Yes.
she's the woman to go to if you want the money.
All right.
Excellent.
That's good to know.
As long as you're there, Wendy, could you set that up for us? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks. My people will call you.
Enjoy your chat. It was nice meeting you both.
Nice to meet you, Tina.
Bye.
I'll put in a good word.
Just want you to know I'm not afraid of money.
He's not afraid of money.
Doesn't scare me.
You know
a
what
bit.
they say? It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's
That's
not the
right.
fact that they're afraid of money. It's the fact they're afraid of paying it back.
Yeah.
I am completely willing to sell out my art. I just want you to know that.
I will be. Yeah, I could whore out my art.
He can, and Scotty says he can whore out his art.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm good with that. I've lived the days of being the artist. I must paint what is in my heart. I must, I put it on.
Not get
I don't
paid
need
for
money.
it.
I
I'd
just need
much
love.
rather paint what your wallet wants. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
That's right. That's right. I've gone beyond. I am now commercial, so I'm a commercial artist.
You know, Scotty, you have a touch that's everywhere. Like everyone's got a bit of you. I mean, literally over in the UK.
Wow.
Think about people that your logos and stuff.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying.
gone to.
I thought you meant you were speaking of my 17 illegitimate children across Wales and England. No,
not in the United Kingdom, surely.
Well, he was a young man and he was single when he was over there last time. It's hard to say.
Were you really single when you came to the UK?
I was.
And
wow.
he was
That
drinking
was
Guinness and sowing wild oats. So
that was just before you and I met. It was March of 2005.
Damn it. Yes, because we met through, it was MySpace, wasn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
I believe it was, because it was about the same time that.
Had to be 2005?
Yeah.
It was MySpace. You had a great MySpace page. I remember that.
Oh, and if I'd have met you in 2005, I might not have ever left England. That's the thing.
I think that's a wonderful compliment. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So
sadly, that didn't happen because I think I came to Calgary in 2005, and so and then the rest is history. Yeah,
I even had dark hair back then.
I remember your bar. I remember your bar you used to have in your lounge or whatever it was. And
what happened to you
in the downstairs?
I was like, wow.
What happened to you, Dad? So, I was telling the story. That's what Ellery said to me, my 7-year-old, looking at old pictures, and she goes, "Wow, that's you?" I said, "Yeah, that's Dad." And she said, "Oh, what happened to you?"
You were like you and your brother and your sister, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I had said I had dark hair until you were born.
Yeah, but your hair in some of the photographs looks almost reddish, like a tint.
It does.
Yeah.
Some of the old pictures, it could be. It was funny. I went through these stages. It was like dark blonde, then it went reddish, and then it went dark. I mean, I had like this charcoaly brown, and then it went back to light brown, and then white.
I'm just reading some of these comments. She ain't lending you no money. Any sneak peeks on what you'll be talking about tomorrow?
Less
Yes.
cold, more cheese words, curds, verds,
Yeah.
more cheese verds. Patroness, Sarah Yusuf says. Sarah, you applying for job of patroness?
Yeah, we'd totally take that. We'd come out to Virginia and paint you a mural or do just about anything.
Yeah.
How would you like the ceiling in your apartment painted or your house?
Wendy, you need a mural in your apartment, right? In your house?
Any day with a Y in it.
Okay. Well, I'll get that worked out.
But considering I may be giving that up soon. Just need to find any reason. I mean, come on, it's the United Kingdom. There are so many reasons for you to get your butts over there.
Oh yeah.
You could say that's an original pot, Scott, up there, and I'm adding a $10,000 to the cost of the house.
2 Americans in my house. Oh my God! I don't think the neighbors would know what hit.
I may make Dave stay home though. So this is my mural. I'm going to do this mural. So.
But then who's going to? Dave's the cameraman.
Oh, that's true. We need the cameraman. So
yeah.
Because we are going to go exploring and do some things over there. We got to.
Listen, I'd love to show you like the Tower of London and Hampton Court Palace.
My favorite house.
I've seen all of those places. I haven't seen Hampton Court, but the places I've seen, I wasn't doing filming. I wasn't filming for paranormal stuff back at that time or historical stuff.
And I have
but I would like to do that.
Ham House is one of the most active houses in England, and it's a great place, and it even looks a bit foreboding actually when you go there. But there's so many places in this. I mean, I'm in the southern part of London, so but you would love it. I'm sure you and Uncle Dave would just be, look at this, look at that.
I love London.
I liked London. There was some restaurant we went to there, which is probably gone now because it was 2005. But maybe by description, it had all these wild, colorful murals all over the walls. And I cannot remember what the name of it was, but it had gilded things on the walls, and a lot of it was caricature, but realistic caricature. And all hand painted, and little old men with wings, a little old man with a wing with wings, and there's something else. I don't remember what it was, but all kinds of things. So now it's not ringing a bell for you. So
no, I mean, it's a constantly changing city, London.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't tend to socialize too much. If I go anywhere, it's Richmond upon Thames, Kingston upon Thames, which is kind of the nice part. I don't really go into central London, although I will go to Covent Garden when I go home for Christmas, just to sort of check that out. But the mayor's made it lovely to drive up there. You've got to pay for this. You can't do this. You can't do that. He's made it. Sadiq Khan, that's his name, the mayor. I'm not a fan. He's really
me either.
Not so easy.
I'm not a fan, and I don't even live there.
No, you shouldn't be a fan of him. No, he's like literally. I mean, I have a classic car, and if he's trying to make it so difficult for those of us that have something like that to put the goddamn fuel in it, and secondly to take it, because he's trying to bring out the charges. It used to be just inner London, but now he's trying to bring it further out. So you have to pay, basically, which is a joke.
Yeah, that is.
But yeah, I'd love to show you 2 around. So get yourself sorted, pop on over.
That would be fun.
New Year's resolution. What am I going to do? I'm going to come to England.
There it is.
Well, there we go. We have to win the lottery. So
it's not that expensive. Mind you saying that. The flights. The flight isn't that expensive, actually. And, I'm sure.
They're really not bad.
I can put you up, so it won't cost you anything.
Like if I were to fly from to Heathrow right now, if I go Minneapolis to Heathrow,
last time I was there, I stayed in someplace. I want to say that was an Essex House or something like that. It was over.
Well, it needs
over in the Notting Hill area
to see what it was. So, right now, if you go to
reading the comments, and what's it say? England.
Let's say we were to make it out in January.
Bye, Niall.
Let's see, the 15th of January to the 31st of January. All right, Minneapolis to London Heathrow. Search. Let's see what it says.
Going to be
$827. I was thinking it was going to be about $850. Was my thought, but there's a couple in here for $790. Now those look like they're all direct flights. They're all nonstop for $800.
Yeah, you want a direct.
I want a direct flight. Yeah,
and that's not bad because if you compare that to English pounds, that's really not that bad. But
it's really not.
It cost me when I came out here £371.
Wow.
To come to Calgary, for direct,
which is about the same price when I think about it in pounds.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be that's roughly the same price?
You're just going to have to go on the street corner with Uncle Dave and do a little song and dance and earn some pennies.
There it is. Yeah. $698 on Air France. $698, so $700, $100 less.
Yeah.
You want us to be rep boys? What do you want us to do?
Oh, darling, Soho's the town for you. You know it. Come on, bring it on.
Yeah.
Fill the man's beard.
Wear your little vests and
for
fezzes.
£1. Tug his beard for £1. All right, governor. Can I pull your beard?
Come on, governor. Yeah. Governor, won't you tug on his beard?
Yeah, little tug. Have a picture with Sarah in January.
There it is. No. You market that the totally different way. We've got a Western American mountain man. This is a genuine Western American mountain man dressed in leather.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, easy.
Well, we can Hagrid.
It's Sasquatch
Hagrid,
hunter.
Dress you up.
And this is Uncle Dave, the Midas Sasquatch hunter. You can come and tug on his beard, and if you can get away fast enough, it'll only cost you $5.
Come and tug. Big little girl, see what you think.
Yes.
He's not impressed.
My beard will be gone by then.
Yeah, it'll be gone.
I'll make us some special brushes to paint with, though.
Well, it's what is it like? How long have you been growing it? That long?
About 8 years.
Wow.
8 years.
I trim it every once in a while. Every 3 months.
It's a bit like ZZ Top, really, isn't it?
Yep. And it's long on the sides. It's gotta go.
You need to condition that thing better, though. That's
by this time of night, it's been brushed 20 times.
You need to condition that baby.
It's just that by this time of night, it's been brushed a whole bunch of times.
See, we have to talk like that, guys. It's obligatory. When we start talking about shampoos and body lotions and conditioners, we have to put on that voice. It's like, nah, I need a little conditioner on that. Fuck.
I love the way that you bring out that voice, Scotty, when you talk about shampoo and stuff like that.
Oh, shampoos.
It's so hilarious.
Oh, yes. Do you have some shampoo? We have a lovely daffodil.
Nice and smooth, sir. Suits you, sir. We're not allowed to say that apparently anymore. But
what aren't you allowed to say?
Suits you, sir. There used to be a show in the UK called The Fast Show. It was really funny. It had Paul Whitehouse. Can't remember the other guy's name, but it was really funny. And Johnny Depp was a massive fan, and he actually appeared in a sketch. And they're two tailors, and all they say is, "Oh, it suits you, sir. Yes, sir.
It suits you, sir."
You know, and there's if you actually go to YouTube and you watch The Fast Show with Johnny Depp sketch, you will laugh your ass off. It is hilarious.
Nice.
And but yeah, Mark says it all the time. He's like, oh God, someone said to me the other day, you can't say that anymore. It's old hat. And I was like, well, just carry on saying it. So, but yes, it suits you, sir. It suits you.
Yes. Just reclaim it and reuse it.
Work it,
we still
baby.
do Python bits over here.
So what are we talking about tomorrow, Scotty?
Let's talk tomorrow, and I'll share with you my ideas.
Oh, okay.
Rather than
spoilers, no spoilers.
Wow.
No spoilers.
It's all going to be secret.
It's all secret for now. It's all lock safe. What did Amadeus? Remember the movie Amadeus?
Yeah.
Where are my notes? He says, it's all lock safe.
Lock safe
in my noodle. Is what he said.
Spoilers.
So that is where tomorrow's show concept is. It's lock safe.
Yeah, I'll be coming. The UK branch will be coming from Canada, so it'll be fun.
We're in trouble.
That'll
He's taking
be a lot
the
of fun.
CBD. We don't know if we're going to be able to open that safe back up.
Right. So let's plan a time tomorrow, Wendy, for you and I to talk about tomorrow afternoon's show.
Yep, any time in the morning works.
Otherwise, I'll just surprise you. Hey, we're on. We're live now. Here's Wendy.
Don't do that. Like I might be in the bath or something, and I know that will make the viewing figures probably go up. But no.
That's like Rocky Stucci. He used to do that to me on our show. We'd have a topic that we would talk about, and then he'd go, "Yo, wait, cannoli." He always called me cannoli. I said, "Cannoli." He says, "Have you ever had sex with a ghost?" I said, "What?" And he said, "No, I'm serious." And we were talking about like international trade law and stuff like that.
I remember that show.
You ever sex with a ghost? And I go, "What?" And of course he was feigned surprise, but he did surprise me with that one. And he says, "Yeah, you haven't?" He says, "I got a question for you. He says, "So is that considered cheating if you have sex with a ghost?" And I said, I think it has less to do with the entity on the other end of your giving than it does the fact that you're giving. And so that's where the conversation went.
What if you're on an OBE and do that?
Be on an out-of-body experience and have sex? Yeah, I've heard people have done that.
Astral project yourself out and then hook up with an old flame on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
on the other side. They have to be on the other side.
The Entity, because The Entity was all about a true story of the ghost who did force themselves on her to have sex, and she was bruised and and everything. So yeah, I mean, I intend to haunt loads of people when I go over. I'm haunting them. That's for sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got people that I've got a list.
Yeah.
At least for the first year or two after I go, I'm gonna stick around and haunt.
There will be no time, Dave. So you take your time with that.
Yes, don't go yet, either of you, please.
I have no plans.
Good.
So
good. Very happy to hear that.
I predicted I will live to be 104.
Get rid of this.
Good.
I may look tired today, but I'll make it to 104.
It's been lovely to be a part of the show, and I thought I'd just pop on and say hello.
It's so lovely having you as part of our
show. It's 11:30.
It's 10.
It's only 10:30 there.
10:28 here.
Oh,
yeah.
10:30 for you. Yes.
Yeah, the night is young, and
it is.
So am I.
Well, Wendy, it has been very lovely having you here.
Thank you, darling.
What?
I do like to come on and make your night.
You've made my night.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
And you'll have me. You'll have me again tomorrow.
I'll have you again tomorrow. These are affirmations. I'm going through affirmations. I have had you tonight.
That flirting.
I've enjoyed having you tonight. I have very much enjoyed myself having you tonight, and I shall have you again tomorrow.
I shall look forward to it properly, Mr. Roberts, tomorrow.
I like to watch.
I like Chauncey Gardner.
Yes, I like to watch. That's exactly what that's from. Chauncey Gardner.
Remember that old Peter Sellers film, Being There? Came out in the late 70s. Wait, you weren't alive then.
I was actually, but thank you very much.
I like to watch.
I do remember the late 70s, sadly, and the fashion. Yeah. Awful.
Oh, the fashion. Oh my God. Yeah. What happened?
Yes, gentlemen, I shall see you tomorrow.
Outside of bell bottoms, I like bell bottoms.
You got to get out of here. You're trying to get out of here, and we're keeping you. So
no. I've got absolutely nothing to do, but it's like I'm looking at the time and thinking your wife and children might want you. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They've had him.
They've had me.
Yeah.
So, all right. You have a good night, Wendy. I will talk to you on the morrow. And yes.
Love you, Uncle Dave.
Love you too, dear.
Now you got to say it in your pirate voice before I go.
Oh, I loves ye too, dearie. Is you is or is you ain't my baby. I can't give you anything but love.
There you go. See, it works for me. It works for me. And Scotty, I will see your sweet face tomorrow.
I salute you.
Yes, Roberts. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Robertson. See you later. Bye. See you, Uncle Dave.
Yep. Take it easy.
Have a good night. I'm getting out of here because I got to go to sleep.
Me too.
All right. Have a good night. And everybody else that's left here, not many of you left here. I'm going to tell you, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here because we're shutting down for tonight. Thank you for being here for the regular show, which airs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard, the Intrepid radio program. And also tomorrow, Tuesdays, at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have Wendy Robertson, and it's the show Robertson. And so come on over. We're going to talk some good streaks tomorrow, and we'll I'm sure we'll have something fun to say and talk about, and things that will stimulate your mind. And that's all I got. So you guys get out of here. You go home, or stay home, or crawl into bed, or don't crawl into bed. Do whatever you're going to do. You know what? Live long and prosper.